Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
Our last speaker of the day, of this session, Jessica Ritchie. Welcome, Jessica.
Hello. Wow. Everyone's just incredible, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and stories. I feel a bit emotional after Margie. So
yes, I think we're all there.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. So welcome, Jessica. Jessica is a transformational brand expert, TIME. Jessica Ritchie is a brand specialist who for the last 15 years has worked with some of Australia's most iconic brands. Jessica creates transformational personal and business brands through strategic marketing and personal time management. What makes her a bit different is that she's also a Reiki master, neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, life coach, and business coach. This gives Jessica the superpower to extract the unique energy and essence of a brand, to amplify their uniqueness across their marketing, branding, and communications. Jessica helps you to make your mark in the world. So over to you, Jessica. Make your mark with clarity, connection, and communication.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Many of us in life want to make our mark. And working for the last 15 years has been a real privilege. A lot of it was in male-dominated environments, and I was continually seeking as a young female to find a woman who I could aspire to be like, to remove myself a bit from those boardroom meetings where the fists were pounded and the beers were broken, and to have to raise your voice in order to be heard. So I learned quite quickly to sort of stand in my power in those situations, and that sometimes silence can be louder than words. And I would put these pieces together along on my journey and on my search for meaning, really. And I come to understand the power of branding and of personal brands. And it was fantastic and humbling to create some of Australia's most recognised brands. But what I was finding, and that we all need to remember, is that each of us are personal brands as well. And so more than ever, through the unprecedented change that we're experiencing with the pandemic, with climate change, we need to understand that we are a personal brand, and people out there are looking to us to lead them, whether we have our own business or if we're a leader in a large organization, because people want to know who it is that's leading them, who's running that organization. And also as a client or customer, where's your hard-earned dollar going? Who's making those decisions? So today is about just that reminder, we are a personal brand. So how do we amplify that? How do we become comfortable in that so that we have the confidence to put ourselves out there with being truly who we are? So what is to make your mark? Well, that's extremely personal. And it's up to you to decide what that means. But for me, to make your mark means to leave a legacy, to create your magic, and to share it with the world. And I think that's what our purpose is. And the sooner we find that, then the better off we and the world will be. So it really is about getting the most out of this one wild and amazing life that we have been gifted. And for me, I was very happy having my business, my marketing agency, in creating these really awesome, bold, brave business brands. Having gone through a lot of life-changing experiences, like everyone, I'd had, the pebbles thrown and the rocks, and then sort of came the boulders. So I helped care for my mum when I was 5. again, when I was 11 years old, through to ill health. Had a perfectionism streak through me, still comes at times, to be completely honest. And having been a carer, and then again to one of my best friends who was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer in 2011, we were 25. And, you know, you're thinking, gosh, I wasn't expecting that. That's not supposed to happen. So I had that. And again, that caring role came in. Later that year, my brother was paralyzed on Easter Sunday in a motorbike accident. So again, that caring role came through. I lost everything in the 2011 floods in Brisbane when that came through. And I do talk about how, you know, it's so important to listen to your intuition. As Danielle mentioned earlier, your gut is your communication base. And I just knew that I would most likely lose my home and contents. And I called the person the CEO was reporting to at the time, and he was like, oh no, it's not going to happen, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And, you know, it made me really second guess myself, and against my better judgment, I went to work, which created chaos. And hence I lost my entire home and contents that day. But what that provided me was the opportunity to reflect and go, well, who are you working for? And I realized the organization I loved, but not particularly the person I was reporting to. And that wasn't going to change. And a lot of things had happened prior to that. You know, I'd be called a bitch as a term of endearment around that table. And he'd say, well, this bitch here thinks we need to go to New Zealand and launch the particular business in New Zealand. And, you know, one day I said, mate, my name's not bitch, it's Jessica. And so that created a bit of a storm. For me, I had some university subjects taken off me. A promotion I was promised didn't come through. And so, you know, prior to the floods, I thought, well, yeah, really, is this where I want to be making my mark? Because I think I can make my mark elsewhere. So when the floods happened, I was offered an incredible job at Tourism and Events Queensland, because we had a massive job to put Queensland back on the map. You know, people's livelihoods were just on the line, they were decimated. So felt on point. And for the first time in marketing, it was mindful marketing that I was doing, and I loved it. So I was like, great, I'm getting closer, you know, to where I feel like I'm making the biggest impact, and how I'm using these tools for good. Instead of profit over people, it's people over profits, right? So fast forward a few years, and my friend passed away. I was able to have 2 beautiful babies who I was told I would never have due to autoimmune conditions. And I went through a bit of an identity crisis, to be honest, because I'd gone from being a high-performing woman through to not really knowing myself and being completely in awe and gratitude of having these 2 beautiful boys. But, you know, when you've been told those stories over and over, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. It took me a while to get my head around it and try and connect it all. And it was on the 27th of May in 2017 that I knew something was up, and I could not stop pacing the perimeter of my home. And I could hear the 2 police air helicopters hovering around my home. I could see and hear 20 police cars zooming past. And my husband just happened to be a police officer, father of 2, in a small town called Helidon in Queensland, which is where we still live now. And I thought, shit, something's up and something's not right. And so I sat there and I waited, I prayed, and I got a call from an unknown number on my phone saying that, can you please turn on the news? Is Sam okay? He couldn't talk, he couldn't breathe. And I said, what the heck do you know that I don't? And so on the news it said, on the headlines, breaking news, Hallinan police officer, father of two, shot and killed in the line of duty. And I thought, heck, this is how I hear about this. And I sat with it. And in that 40 minutes, so it wasn't my husband, it was another man, his colleague. My husband was second responder. He had over 200 bullets fired at him. He rolled his car. And yeah, it's those changes where it's that catalyst for change. And in that 40 minutes where I thought he was gone, you plan your life and you go, well, what am I going to do? And I thought, I'm not really making my mark. I remember thinking that, and I remember standing at my window thinking, so what am I going to do? Because my husband's just made his mark, and that's when I've known for a while and going through those carer roles that I had a gift to heal. But coming from a strong Catholic upbringing, didn't feel comfortable in talking about it. And that was just me, like creating that it wasn't accepted. It's been extremely accepted within my family because I now have the confidence to use my voice and say, well, this is me. So in that 40 minutes there, I was like, I'm going to learn Reiki and I'm going to follow this intuition that I've been gifted. Yet how can I use that? How can I, because I love marketing and that's what I'm good at and known for, but how do I integrate, energy work with that? And I was no longer scared to do that because I had just experienced the most scariest thing I'd ever felt. So I was like, oh, that's nothing, like you got to go for it. And so it's about, it often takes these times of great challenge in order for us to change. And so before that challenge comes, which, change is guaranteed, how can we step up and have that courage to do what we want to do and not allow a challenge to create the catalyst for change? And so for me, I've created a model that is, how to make your mark. And so to make your mark is about getting clarity. So clarity, who am I? What's do I have a strong identity? What's my self-esteem and value like? What are my values and core values? Do I listen to my intuition? What are these limiting beliefs that come into play? And am I comparing myself to others? And is that imposter syndrome coming through? So it's going through that. And then at the core of it, are your values aligned? Am I acting with integrity and congruence? And so that forms your vision then. You know what you want, who you are, and where you are going. So that's the foundation to make your mark. But now if you want to add some fuel or some fire to that, it's about sparking your mark then. So it's taking it to the next level. So to spark your mark, you need that connection to yourself first and foremost. So that is about having vulnerability, being authentic. It's empathy. It's having self-care, kindness, compassion to yourself. And we've all heard, the saying, not that we feel, and we've heard it much now with not being able to fly much, but, fix your oxygen mask first before assisting others. We've heard that time and time again, and we say it to others, but, we don't think about it much for ourselves. So this whole spark your mark component is about connecting to yourself first and foremost. Get that deep connection, love yourself. And then that enhances and elevates your vibration, your energy. And so it's about who supports you, who is your high five network, who's going to give you that high five and is reliable. It's having strong boundaries for yourself. And then it's protecting your energy as well. And then to go from spark your mark, and you want to add the fuel to the fire, that's where we ignite your mark. And you do that through communication. And that's where we come and we build that brand, because you're the personal brand, right? So how are you communicating? How are you showing up? How are you presenting yourself? Is your collateral robust? Are we getting that energy and essence of you? Because we know who you are now, right? You've made your mark. We know the identity's there. You're so connected with yourself. Now with the fuel to the fire, we can put you out there, you know, step up and be seen and be heard. And so with that communication piece is voice. So it's using your voice, and then that's the visibility. So that's where you put yourself out there and can feel authentic and congruent. So I just want to say, you know, it's time to make our marks, and then to spark our mark, and then to ignite our mark. We all deserve it. We are all a personal brand, and don't wait for a catastrophic moment to create the change and be the person who you want to be. Thank you.
Jessica, I thought I took my first collective gasp when I heard the word bitch. And then it was like a bigger one. I think everywhere across the room, we were all speechless. And in that moment, we were with you in your 40 minutes and really feeling you. And I want to go deeper into that conversation about that, from helplessness to, you know, empowerment and finding your mark. But thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you. I would like to present the certificate of speaker on behalf of the World United for being an esteemed speaker in the Global Transformation Festival 2021 Australia, Jessica Ritchie. Thank you so much. I present this on behalf of Dr. Yugandhar, Grandma Parisha.
Thank you. I accept it gratefully. Thank you all.